We already know how to compute the limit of a function using the graphing and numerical approaches. However, many times we utilize another approach called analytic. Next, I will introduce this approach and will discuss when it is appropriate to use such an approach. To find the limit of a function analytically means to use the properties of the function to figure out the limit without graphing it or using a calculator. We would only be able to use the analytic approach on certain functions that we are very familiar with. Next, I will list all such types of functions for which we can employ the analytic approach. The power functions are the simplest polynomials with a predictable behavior, so finding their limits is very easy without any supporting devices. The polynomial functions, in general, have a predictable behavior, so finding their limits is also very easy without any supporting devices. The reciprocal functions are the simplest rational functions with a very predictable behavior, so finding their limits is a straightforward process without any computing devices. The rational functions in general are more sophisticated than polynomials, but still have a predictable behavior, so finding their limits is easy for some target values and requires a bit of thinking for others. These functions are not exactly rational, but they do look and act a lot like rational functions, thus the name, rational-like. We won't be able to analytically find all the limits of all such functions, but there are a few patterns that can be tackled without a graphing device or a calculator. We introduced the analytic approach and discussed the types of functions which will allow us to employ the analytic approach.